After my failed attempt to seduce Ji Luoxiao, I tactfully chose to retreat. I fled abroad, staying away for 3 entire years. On the day of my return, what welcomed me was the news of his impending engagement. Clad in a brilliant crimson dress, I made my appearance at the engagement party. My red lips curled slightly as I smiled. Long time no see, little brother. Thank you for choosing Whisper with Pineapple to listen to. A place where you can relax while listening to stories, practice your English listening skills, and check translations through both Vietnamese and English versions. If there are any mistakes during the translation process, we hope everyone will provide feedback to Pineapple to give us more motivation to release more videos in the future. We hope our dear loves will give Pineapple a like and a subscription to receive notifications when we release new videos. Wish everyone a happy time listening to the story and relaxing moments with Pineapple. I looked toward Lin Wanyan, who was standing beside Ji Luoxiao. Her dress was shimmering, and her makeup was just delicate enough. Her fragile face made anyone pity her at first glance, stirring a restless ache in one's heart. It made sense. A young man like him would naturally prefer that kind of girl. No wonder I had spent so much effort back then and still failed to pursue him. It turned out he simply didn't like the older sister type like me. When he saw me, a flash of astonishment flickered in his eyes. I raised my wine glass and offered a smile. Congratulations. A talented man and a beautiful woman. Truly a perfect match. Ji Luoxiao's gaze darkened instantly, his hands clenching into fists. Is this Sister Xinqing? Hello, sister. I looked at Lin Wanyan's extended hand, then shook it. Hello. I often hear Xiao mention you. Meeting you today. You are even more beautiful than in the photos. Thank you. You are very beautiful as well. I was never good at this kind of socializing, so I casually exchanged a few words and intended to leave. Taking advantage of the moment Lin Wanyan went to toast the guests, Ji Luoxiao suddenly grabbed my hand and led me straight into the emergency exit. The door shut, completely shutting out all the noise from the outside world. His deep voice resonated by my ear. Why did you come back to the country? Mom and Dad told me to come back for your engagement ceremony. I replied honestly. About what happened back then, there was no need to bring up old matters again. I knew what he was about to say. The past is in the past. Now that you're engaged, let's just forget everything. What happened back then was my fault. We can still be good siblings, right? The atmosphere grew heavy to the point of suffocation. Only after a long while did Ji Luoxiao speak. Let me take you home. No need. My boyfriend will pick me up shortly. You have a boyfriend? I replied as if it were a matter of course. What's wrong? You're 2 years younger than me. You're already engaged. So is there an issue with me having a boyfriend? The very next second, Ji Luoxiao seemed to go mad. He pinned me against the shaky, precarious door behind us. Sister, stop provoking me. I chuckled softly. Didn't you already reject me? Why are you so angry? Ji Luoxiao was my parents' adopted son. Ever since he was brought into the Shin family at the age of 11, we had addressed each other as siblings and grown up together. I was 3 years older than him. At the age of 25, I realized that my feelings for him were no longer pure. Ji Luoxiao, I like you. But he didn't respond at all. I clung to him tenaciously for a long time. Ji Luoxiao, is this dress of mine pretty? Ji Luoxiao, look at me. Ji Luoxiao, do you like me? The night before going abroad, I wore that very same red dress and stepped into his room. The lights were off in the room. The scent of cigarettes was quite heavy. Ji Luoxiao, aided by the moonlight filtering through the window, I saw him sitting beside the sofa. I walked over and took the glowing cigarette from his lips. So young, and yet you don't learn good things. Smoke less of this stuff. Ji Luoxiao didn't answer. The light in the room was too dim, and I couldn't discern the emotions deep within his eyes. But he did not stop my actions either. Tomorrow I'm going abroad. Be a bit well-behaved at home. Don't make Mom and Dad angry. I sat down next to him on the sofa, speaking casually. Why the sudden desire to go abroad? I didn't know if it was an illusion, but I caught a trace of panic in his voice. I just want to go. Anyway, there's no one here who can't live without me. I still harbored a glimmer of hope, hoping to hear him ask me to stay. But there was none. We remained locked in a silent standoff like that for a long time. Still nothing. I gave a self-deprecating laugh, standing up to leave. Suddenly, my arm was held back. My heart pounded fiercely. Have a safe trip. You mean, Ji Luoshao is jealous? I shook my head. I'm not sure. Back then, I treated him so well, yet he had never been that passionate. Eating cake, Jiang Yao analyzed. In my opinion, since Ji Luoshao is your family's adopted son, he definitely feels he isn't worthy of you. Otherwise, with your looks and figure, how could you fail to win him over? I looked down at myself. It sounded reasonable. Back then, I praised him every day. Surely that gave him quite a bit of encouragement. But the difference in status is still there. If he can't overcome this barrier, everything else is futile. As an onlooker, Jiang Yao saw things more clearly than I did. Besides, if you two really ended up together, would your parents agree? Hearing this, my hand stirring the coffee froze. After going abroad, I had also thought about this issue. Therefore, I constantly reminded myself to give up. It was just that when I heard the news of his impending engagement, my heart couldn't help but throb with sharp pangs of pain. I pretended to be casual. He's already engaged. No matter what, I can't be a third party. No way. Jiang Yao changed the subject. Now that you're back, are you leaving again? I'm not leaving anymore. Initially, I said I went to pursue advanced studies, but I found out I simply couldn't study. In the future, the company can just be handed over to my older brother. I sighed. Truly a life born to enjoy luxury. Must be nice, Ching Ching. I don't want to strive anymore either. How about introducing your brother to me? Sure. My best friend had spoken. How could I not help? I just opened my phone, intending to send his contact card. Hey, I'm just kidding. Jiang Yao hurriedly stopped me. Business people are so boring, forget it. How would you know without interacting first? No. She still refused. Oh, right, I heard Annie has been introducing blind date prospects to you lately. Bringing this up made me annoyed. Think about it. My brother is 2 years older than me. Ji Luoshao is also engaged. My parents don't urge them, yet they go and arrange blind dates for me. Isn't everything topsy-turvy? Then your brother must stay single forever. That way, you'll have an excuse not to marry. It sounded very logical. Truly a great idea. Stop thinking about it. You just returned to the country. Let me take you somewhere fun to distract you. Inside the bar, 10 men stood in a row. Every single one of them was tall and striking. Who do you like? I looked left and right. The fourth person over there. I like the baby face type. Fine. You really are determined to hang yourself on one tree and never come down. Though she said so, she still told the manager to keep that person. Sister, let's drink together. I laughed. Quite tactful. Sure. The sound of clinking glasses rang out. I only felt that his eyes were very bright. Your eyes are really beautiful. I touched the bridge of his nose. It was so high. Then you should touch me a bit more, sister. He pulled my hand and placed it on his face. Now this was what a younger brother should feel like. But as he drew closer and closer, I tilted my head to avoid him. And at that exact moment, I saw Ji Luoshao sitting not far away. I didn't know when he arrived, but when I looked over, our eyes instantly locked. Perhaps he had been sitting there watching for a long time. The corners of my lips curled up. Interest surged instantly, just as I was about to turn my head back. Ji Luoshao took several strides over, grabbed my hand, and pulled me straight outside. Jiang Yao was drinking merrily. Ji Luoshao, where are you taking Xing Xing? He didn't answer. I brushed his hand off. Take Yao Yao home too. My voice was resolute, permitting no refusal. He looked at me deeply. On the way back, the car was unusually quiet. No one said a word. Jiang Yao was slightly tipsy, looking at me then at Ji Luoshao. Then she leaned her head on my shoulder, seemingly falling asleep. Seeing this, a trace of displeasure flickered between Ji Luoshao's handsome brows. We dropped Jiang Yao off at home first. When I came back downstairs, only Ji Luoshao was left in the car. For some reason, I felt a little afraid of that gaze. My hand had just reached for the rear door handle. The car window rolled down. Sit in the front seat. On the way back to the Shin residence, the car pulled over midway. I frowned. What's the matter? Ji Luoshao unbuckled his seatbelt and leaned toward me. Was it fun? Was he talking about the bar just now? My lips curved into a smile. Of course it was fun. I love younger brothers the most. He lightly licked the inside of his cheek, looking considerably angered. The hand gripping my shoulder tightened further, making me uncomfortable. I struggled. Let go. The next second, my eyes widened. He pulled my hand and placed it directly on his abdomen. Through the thin fabric of his shirt, I could clearly feel the burning heat radiating from his body. Those people in there aren't clean. Why not play with me instead? I'm very clean. I snapped my hand back. A slap descended. Smack. Right now, I am your older sister. Show me some respect. Already engaged and still pretending to be pure. Tui. His face was slapped aside. Yet he still broke into a smile. Perhaps he even found pleasure in it. Only now do you remember you're my sister? 3 years ago, you didn't treat me like this. 3 years ago, I debased myself. I looked straight at him. Ji Luoshao, from now on we can only be and will only be in a sibling relationship. He narrowed his eyes, still refusing to back down. What if I don't want to? Fine. I smiled indifferently. Then break off the engagement with Lin Wanyan. I will try to persuade Mom and Dad. How about it? As soon as those words left my mouth, he fell silent as expected. Even the hand holding my shoulder stiffened. 3 years ago, I was ignorant. From now on, I won't disturb you anymore. You should forget it too. The two of us stared at each other for a long time. Finally, Ji Luoshao turned back to the driver's seat and fastened a seatbelt. The car slowly headed toward the Shin residence. For the rest of the journey, I didn't say another word to him. The moment I arrived home, I went straight to my bedroom and began preparing clothes for tomorrow's blind date. Although Mother Shun was anxious, she always said she would never push her daughter into a pit of fire. The person she introduced to me was a gentle, polite man who knew his boundaries well. My conversation with him went quite smoothly. Just as the conversation was becoming lively, a familiar figure appeared at the restaurant door. I watched Ji Luoshao stride over. Truly an unyielding phantom. For some reason, I had entangled myself with such a living king of hell. You already have a boyfriend, yet you're still going on a blind date. I paid little heed. What does it have to do with you? Seeing this, the blind date also stood up. Who are you? Ji Luoshao glared at him. None of your business. I blocked his hand that was about to strike. This is my younger brother. It's fine. You should leave first. All right. He looked at me gently. Remember to message me when you get home. Okay. Ji Luoshao grabbed one of my hands. Okay to what? Shut your mouth. Finally unable to endure it any longer, I shouted at him loudly. Didn't we already agree? Act as if nothing ever happened. What is the meaning of your persistent clinging now? I regret it. Hearing him say that sentence, my heart suddenly trembled. My hand was just raised in midair when a girl's voice echoed from behind him. Ah Shao, why did you run over here? Didn't we say? Lin Wanyan's appearance caused me to instantly retract my hand. Sister Xinqing is here too? Why don't we have a meal together? No need. I smiled faintly. I just finished eating. You two go ahead, I'll leave first. It turned out he had come with someone else. He hadn't come specifically for me. What was I getting emotional for? In the evening, just as I was preparing to sleep, the doorbell rang. Who is it? Looking through the peephole, I saw Ji Luoshao with a face flushed from alcohol. He was half leaning against the wall, looking as though he had drunk quite a lot. I only cracked the door open slightly, with absolutely no intention of letting him in. What are you doing here? Sister, I have something to say to you. That sister was steeped in alcohol, sounding so intimate that it made my scalp tingle. I turned my face away. It's late. Whatever it is, talk about it tomorrow. I was just about to shut the door. His hand blocked the edge. Fearing I would crush his hand, I stopped. Can't you understand human speech? Ji Luoshao stared intently at me. I subconsciously pulled my coat tightly around myself. With the advantage of a man's height and strength, he easily squeezed inside. I had absolutely no chance to resist. I could only let him be. Not wanting to pay attention to him, I turned around to go straight to my bedroom, but my waist was suddenly gripped tightly from behind. Let go of me. I couldn't break free no matter how I struggled. Hot breath fanned against my neck. Sister, you smell so good. I gritted my teeth and stamped hard on his foot. Ah, that cry sounded right next to my ear. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Yet, Ji Luoxiao still showed no intention of letting go. Ji Luoxiao, you are drunk. Don't throw a tantrum at my place. Go find Lin Wanyan. No, he hugged even tighter. Sister is so fragrant. Did this person even know what he was saying? I repeatedly tried to pry his hands off my waist. After a few more rounds of wrestling, a sob echoed by my ear. Sister, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Didn't mean to do what? But the person behind me didn't answer anymore. A heavy weight suddenly pressed down on my shoulder. The sound of steady breathing ensued. I had to expend the strength of 9 bulls and 2 tigers to drag him onto the bed. Taking another shower, I went out to the balcony to make a phone call. Help me investigate what Ji Luoxiao has been doing over the past 3 years. Just as I hung up, my waist was wrapped in a pair of large hands again. Standing before the mirror, looking at the 2 hickeys on my neck, I closed my eyes and inhaled deeply, striding into the living room in a few quick paces. Ji Luoxiao. He still looked at me dazedly. I pointed at the marks on my neck. Did you do this? Last night, right after hugging my waist, he had started behaving dishonestly, even leaving such deep marks. Sister, I was drunk last night. I really didn't mean to. Drunk my foot. I was no small amount of angry. I'm telling you, you are a man with a fiancé now. Discard those thoughts immediately or else. Sister, I don't like Lin Wanyan. I furrowed my brows and looked at him. Step by step, he drew closer. My mother's death is connected to the Lin family. Hearing this, my eyes widened. Ji Luoxiao's mother. I had heard him mention her before. Every time he spoke of her, a happy smile always graced his face. Originally, he should have also had a mother who loved him. It was just that. So, his engagement to Lin Wanyan was to investigate something within the Lin family? On the surface, the Lin family was a prestigious clan, but in reality, they operated across both the legal and illegal underworlds, with no shortage of lives lost at their hands. I had also heard rumors of this. As for Lin Wanyan, pampered like a princess since childhood, she probably knew nothing of those secrets. I raised an eyebrow. Just you alone? The less you know, the better. Ji Luoxiao said no more. He only looked straight into my eyes, then gently brushed aside the hair on my forehead. He was afraid of dragging me into this. If that was the case, when did you begin this plan? The movement of his hand froze. 3 years ago. As expected, 3 years ago, he had already prepared to approach Lin Wanyan. That was why he always rejected me. That was why he pursued Lin Wanyan for 3 whole years. Why didn't you tell me the truth back then? I could have helped you. I didn't want to owe you any more. I began to maintain my distance from Ji Luoxiao. He did his work. I did mine. Since he had said he didn't need my help, there's no reason for me to thick-skinly cling to him. However, right when I was relaxing with a facial mask, urgent knocking suddenly echoed outside. I approached with caution, carefully peering through the peephole. The person outside wore a black cloak, their face obscured. Who is it? Just as I asked, the person lifted his head and collapsed. Ji Luoxiao. I opened the door and dragged him inside. Only then did I discover a stab wound on his abdomen. Blood was flowing relentlessly. It was only hard to see because of the black clothing. Fortunately, although the wound was large, it wasn't deep. I fetched the medical kit. Utilizing the sparse first aid knowledge, I had learned to tend his wound. The stench of blood was too potent. I hastily opened the ventilation window and sprayed a generous amount of perfume before it became bearable. With great difficulty, I managed to support Ji Luoxiao onto the bed. He cracked his eyes open slightly. If Lin Xian comes to make trouble for you later, just give me up. Lin Xian was Lin Wanyan's father, and also the man currently in power over the Lin family. It turned out he had crossed him. Rest assured, I won't implicate myself for your sake. So my lips said, yet. When the knocking on the door sounded, my heart still quivered. Chairman Lin, I asked in feigned surprise. It's so late, is something the matter? Lin Xian's gaze swept over me. Did that brat Ji Luoxiao come here? Ji Luoxiao? I haven't even seen him for the past few days. Where is he now? I don't know. I glanced at the clock. It's this late. He's probably sleeping at home. May I come in and sit for a moment? As he spoke, he prepared to step inside. Feeling a surge of anger, I blocked him immediately. Chairman Lin, coming here this late is already improper. If you enter further and word gets out, what will become of my reputation as a young woman? After all, the entire Shin family stood behind me. For the time being, he didn't dare touch me. Not until he turned and left did I breathe a sigh of relief. My palms were drenched in sweat. The next day, Lin Xian indeed came knocking on the door. Inside the old villa, he sat in the living room drinking tea. As Ji Luoxiao and I headed downstairs, I shot him a glance. Conceal your wound well. Otherwise, even the gods won't be able to save you. He looked at my lips. Sister, I actually have a small favor to ask of you. What favor? The very next second, an unexpected kiss descended. Amidst the lingering contact of our lips, he didn't advance further this time. Looking at his gradually reddening lips, I suddenly understood. He smiled smugly. Just borrowing some of your lipstick. Bastard man. Sure enough. Lin Xian's gaze remained fixed on Ji Luoxiao. Xiao Ji, I called last night, and the butler said you were asleep. Youth is indeed wonderful. The moment your back hits the bed, you fall right asleep. Luckily, I had called the butler beforehand to arrange everything, bringing Ji Luoxiao back to the old villa in the middle of the night. Uncle Lin, I didn't have anything to do, so I just turned in early. Young people must maintain good health. Ji Luoxiao even thumped his chest. Just watching it made me feel the pain for him. Your complexion indeed looks quite good. Lin Xian was a smiling old fox. Despite his suspicions, without evidence, he didn't dare act recklessly. My daughter likes men with abs very much. I wonder how Xiao Ji's training is coming along. Let uncle have a look. I was pretending to drink water and almost spat it all out. Hearing this line from Lin Xian's mouth was truly incredibly bizarre. If Ji Luoxiao lifted his shirt now, it would be exposed instantly. I was just about to come to his rescue. To my surprise, he responded directly. Sure. I turned to look at him with a dazed expression. My mouth clearly formed the words. Do you want to die? He gestured for me to be at ease, then reached out, preparing to lift his shirt. Lin Xian also grew serious, intently watching Ji Luoxiao's movements. Just as a corner of the shirt was pulled up, a girl's sweet voice rang out. Dad, why did you come to the Shin residence? It was Lin Wanyan. She smiled beautifully and knew exactly how to act cutely. If not for being enemies, perhaps Ji Luoxiao would also like this type of girl. Dad just came to check on things for you. Didn't you say you like men with nice bodies? Dad is telling Ji Luoxiao to strip his shirt for you to see. Lin Wanyan's face flushed crimson instantly. Oh Dad, this is so embarrassing. Whether Ah Zhao's body is nice or not, could it be that I don't know? Having said that, she cast a meaningful look at Ji Luoxiao. I immediately averted my eyes. What on earth did it have to do with me? Ji Luoxiao had escaped this disaster. He embraced Lin Wanyan, looking immensely intimate. My parents had returned and were currently discussing the wedding arrangements for the two with Lin Xian. We have watched this boy, Ah Zhao, grow up since childhood. His character and everything else are absolutely flawless. These two children look more and more compatible the more one sees them. And our two families have cooperated for so many years. Now that the marriage is set, why don't we pick an auspicious date soon, so that we elders can also put our minds at ease? This was the first joyous event of our generation. It was something worth celebrating. Yet, for some reason, I couldn't find it in myself to be happy. Everything will be according to Mom and Dad's wishes. Ji Luoxiao's smile pierced sharply into my eyes. I turned around, intending to retreat to my room, but was abruptly called back. Sister Xinqing. Lin Wanyan stepped forward and grasped my hand. You are Ah Zhao's sister. Please give us some suggestions for reference as well. I forced out a smile. You two should just take charge of your own wedding. I don't have any experience, so I can't advise you. Having spoken, I glanced at Ji Luoxiao and walked straight back to my room. 2 hours later, a gentle knock sounded on my bedroom door. 3 times, 2 times, 1 time. This was the secret signal from every time I used to sneak over to his room. Opening the door, it was indeed Ji Luoxiao. Seeing no one around, I swiftly pulled him inside the house. Have they left? He followed closely behind me. Are you unhappy? No, my voice was flat, wishing to ignore him. Yet, upon seeing his wound, seeping blood, I couldn't bear to be harsh. His lips had lost their color once more. Only then did I notice the thin sheen of sweat on his forehead. I quickly changed the dressing for Ji Luoshao, then gently shook his body. His response was quite feeble, so I reached out to touch his forehead. The temperature was somewhat high. Truly a fellow who paid no heed to his own body. He opened his eyes dreamily. You have a fever. Let me call a doctor to look at you. Before I could take a single step, I was pulled back by him, tumbling into his embrace. The scorching heat of his body gave me a slight jolt. Don't, it will be discovered. A somewhat raspy voice echoed in the room, carrying an exceedingly ambiguous atmosphere. It made sense. If a doctor were called now, Mom and Dad would surely find out about his injury. Then, I'll go get you some fever medicine. He still didn't let go, closing his eyes as if he had fallen fast asleep. I brushed away the damp strand of bangs on his forehead. Only when fast asleep was he at his most well-behaved. As dawn broke dimly, I stood before the window without a shred of sleepiness. The person on the bed stirred slightly, and I stubbed out my cigarette. Ji Luoshao stepped out of bed and stood shoulder to shoulder with me. Didn't you once say this stuff isn't good? Why are you smoking it now? I didn't reply, tipping up my toes to reach out and touch his forehead. The fever was gone. Now that your body is recovered, return to your own room. It won't be good if Mom and Dad wake up later. Having said this, I prepared to lie back, down to catch up on sleep. But my hand was tightly held by Ji Luoshao. When did you learn to smoke? I was dazed. During those 3 years abroad, I had thoroughly learned to smoke and drink. And the culprit behind all of this. I let out a sigh and turned around. Ji Luoshao, what is your plan? He released his grip and remained silent. I understood his meaning. Can't you even tell me? He lowered his head. I don't want to involve you. A large frame stood there, looking both pitiful and unyielding. Think about it. If something really happens to you, can our Shen family wash our hands completely clean of the relationship? I'm sorry. Who wants your apology? I couldn't hold it in any longer. Ji Luoshao, previously, I let you face it alone because I thought you could protect yourself well. Yet you appeared before me with a body full of wounds. I cannot gamble on this. I'm afraid you'll die. I want to face it together with you. No sooner had the words left my mouth than I fell into his crushing embrace. When going downstairs for breakfast, it was rare to see both father and mother present. Mother Shen, mistakenly written as Mother Jiang in the original text, scooped a bowl of porridge for me. Why did you suddenly run back to the old house to sleep? I missed home. I just came back to visit you too. I never needed a draft to lie, because those words were half true and half false. Always so smooth-tongued. Mother Shen pouted. Ah Shao is already engaged. When are you finally going to bring a son-in-law back for me? I glanced at Ji Luoshao. He was also looking at me. Sure, Mom. Tell me what kind of person you like, and I'll bring exactly that kind of person back to you. I noticed the person beside me clearly stiffened for a beat, the veins on the back of his hand holding the chopsticks bulging. This habit of getting jealous at the slightest thing, it actually seemed quite amusing. The items Ji Luoshao stole from Lin Xian's place were pieces of criminal evidence against him. However, these things were temporarily insufficient to shake the Lin family status. If leaked only on a small scale, they would be suppressed very quickly. Furthermore, for the Lin family to prosper for so many years, they possessed no small amount of resources and networks in their hands. It was imperative to find an excellent opportunity to expose these matters before the public, turn the Lin family into a target of universal condemnation. Only in this way could the Lin family be cast into the abyss. Thinking up to this point, Ji Luoshao hesitated again. If we do this, the Shen family will also suffer enormous losses. I will tell Dad to terminate the contracts that can be terminated beforehand. I looked at him. As for the rest, consider it that you owe me. The phone rang. I glanced down. The screen displayed the 3 words Lin Wanyan. I'll go first. Returning to the balcony, I took a box of women's cigarettes out of my coat pocket. Hesitating for a moment, I ultimately gave up. Afterward, I threw both the cigarette pack and the lighter into the trash can. Ji Luoshao, I hope you prove worthy of the trust I've placed in you. When Lin Xian came to see my father, my heart suddenly beat very fast. A sense of unease surged upon the tip of my heart. Waiting until he departed, I noticed his gaze sweeping past Ji Luoshao, who was standing beside me. We pushed open the door and entered the study. My father was sitting there, massaging his temples. What's the matter, Dad? That wretched creature Lin Xian somehow obtained the company's trade secrets. He is using them to threaten me, demanding that I hand over 40% of the shares to him. The people who could gain access to the company's secrets were, after all, only a few. Thinking back to that gaze from earlier, I cast a look at Ji Luoshao. He hung his head without a word, a guilty conscience preventing him from looking straight into my eyes. So did you agree to his demands, Dad? Father Shen let out a sigh. The deadline is the day of the wedding. If he didn't agree, that moment would indeed present an excellent opportunity. Leaking all the company's secrets would deal a heavy blow to the Shen family. Truly a venomous tactic. Must this wedding still proceed? As I uttered these words, my gaze drifted slightly toward Ji Luoshao. He showed no reaction. If the shares ultimately fall into Lin Xian's hands, then the marital alliance is our final resort. Truly a flawless calculation. Dad, don't worry too much. I will also think of a way. After reassuring my father, I stepped out of the study, gripped Ji Luoshao's hand tightly, and dragged him all the way outside. You were the one who gave the company's secrets to Lin Xian. There was no hint of questioning in my tone. It was an absolute assertion. He hung his head without a word, taking it as a tacit admission. Was this also part of your plan? I stared intently into his eyes. If anything truly happens to the Shen family, I will absolutely never forgive you. Having spoken, I turned my head and walked away, never looking back even once. The day of the wedding was also the final deadline. My father had steadfastly refused to compromise, despite it being a grand day of joy. His face couldn't manage a single smile. Lin Xian, on the contrary, was in an exceptionally magnificent mood. I watched Ji Luoshao clad in his groom's attire, also laughing and talking animatedly. Lin Wanyan stood by his side, hooking her arm through his as they welcomed the guests together. To outsiders looking in, one might even think they were a family of three. Lin Xian walked over with a radiant smile to toast my father. How is the previous proposal coming along? I have already prepared everything here. The phrase already prepared everything carried a heavy scent of threat. I smiled to play along, though the smile didn't reach the depths of my eyes. President Lin, the contract is already prepared. We will sign it immediately after the wedding concludes. He hesitated slightly, fearing we might break our word. The secrets in your hands are so vital to our family, Uncle. What else can we do but obey you? Once this wedding is over, we will all be one family, so this little bit of time won't make a difference. Fine, then we'll wait until the wedding ends. However, Lin Xian was indeed an old fox, extremely cunning. If you dare play tricks on me, don't blame me for turning ruthless and unfeeling. Finally, the matter was temporarily glossed over. The guests had all arrived in full force, most of whom were prominent figures with significant clout in the business and political arenas. With such a grand setting, no wonder Lin Xian possessed such great leverage to threaten us. The wedding officially commenced, and I watched Ji Luoshao standing on the stage. At the exact moment of exchanging rings, the entire venue suddenly plunged into darkness. On the large screen, event after event appeared, every single one being evidence of the Lin family's illegal activities, embezzlement, and bribery. The final video clip depicted Lin Xian brutally murdering a woman. The screen was intensely bloody and savage. Miserable shriekings echoed throughout the entire space. I suddenly recalled the words Ji Luoshao had spoken that day. His mother's death was connected to the Lin family. Could the person on the screen be his mother? Among the crowd, continuous murmurs and clamor broke out. I rushed onto the stage, wishing to search for his figure in the darkness. When the lights flashed back on, Ji Luoshao was standing right in front of me, tears streaming down his entire face. I gently grasped his hand. The more evidence there was and the more authentic it was, the more people would believe it. Consequently, the Lin family would collapse even more easily. How much courage must he have summoned to finally resolve to release this video? Over there, Lin Xian kept screaming at the top of his lungs, "Turn it off! Turn it off!" Yet even if this one was turned off, there were still countless others. The police quickly descended upon the scene. Refusing to submit quietly, Lin Xian struggled free from his restraints and lunged frantically toward Ji Luoxiao. "Ji Luoxiao, you little bastard! I should have killed you along with your mother right from the start. Though, your mother's taste was indeed not bad, ha ha ha." His two fists tightly clenched, Ji Luoxiao lunged forward, grabbed the man's collar, delivered 2 heavy punches, and ruthlessly threw him hard onto the ground. Blood seeped from the corner of Lin Xian's mouth, leaving him unable to speak clearly. Ji Luoxiao's eyes were bloodshot, looking as if he would strike to kill the man in the very next second. I rushed forward to stop him, raising both hands to cradle his blood-stained face. "Ji Luoxiao, carrying a human life on your conscience for this kind of person is not worth it. What we ought to do is let him face the punishment of the law." He looked into my eyes, unable to restrain himself any longer, and hugged me tightly. Choked sobs echoed by my ear. In the end, Lin Xian was escorted away by the police. The Lin family's assets were seized, and Lin Wanyan was sent abroad. With the corners of her eyes rimmed with red, she bowed slightly to Ji Luoxiao. "I'm sorry. Only later did I learn that my father had also participated in this matter." Ji Luoxiao had laid his cards on the table with him long ago. They had put on this performance together. I curiously asked, "What else did you say to Dad?" He used both hands to encircle my waist. "Do you want to know?" I nodded my head. Ji Luoxiao flashed a mischievous smile. "Then, in exchange, answer one question of mine first." "Go ahead. Why do you like me?" This question was truly one I had never pondered. Shifting my gaze elsewhere, I said, "I simply like younger brothers, that's all." He held my face to turn it back. "Then why do you like younger brothers?" "Because they all say that once a man passes the age of 25, he is no longer youthful." I assessed him from head to toe, flashing a meaningful smile. "Are you doing okay?" Ji Luoxiao's eyes narrowed, looking somewhat dangerous. A smile tugged at the corner of his lips. "You can find out for yourself if you just tried a little." That night lasted until the horizon grew bright with dawn. I was so exhausted that I couldn't bear it, repeatedly begging for mercy before he finally let me go. This scoundrel. As it concluded, he held me tightly from behind. "Sister, actually, every time you wear a red dress, I always want to tear it to shreds and pin you firmly beneath my body." Thank you everyone for listening to the end of Pineapple's story today. Wish you, my loves, a truly joyful and happy day. Hope that everyone will support Pineapple in the next story series.